Admiral James stood before the Galactic Council, displaying a hologram of the Guardian ship behind him. The long hull stretched across 3 city blocks, with large cannons lining both sides. Sighs echoed throughout the room as alien eyes saw its size dwarf all other ships. Does the Terran Federation have any justification for this blatant violation? Ambassador Telesin shouted, aghast. Fearful whispers spread like wildfire at humanity's audacity. Explain at once. Admiral James waited for silence, eyes never leaving the council. The Guardian ship protects humanity from a very real threat, one you've failed to address. He pulled up casualty reports and damage assessments from dozens of colony worlds. The Marauder Alliance has slaughtered millions. They will not respond to words. Shouts and growls erupted at the accusation, drowning out pleas for order. We've tried diplomacy for too long, James continued, emotion swelling. Our people will no longer be hunted in their sleep. If you will not act, we must protect ourselves. The ambassador spat a string of untranslatable words. Your foolish apes have no power here. We'll see your warship dismantled before it launches. Cheers of support rose but died under James's cold gaze. Try, his words stopped hearts, but know every Terran world will see you as enemies after, and we will fight as fiercely as the Alliance to uphold our sovereignty. The council chamber devolved into chaos, factions splitting along species lines. Admiral James left the council, his mission temporarily complete. News of the Guardian ship spread fast, sparking discord between isolationist factions. As the first arguments began, the Terran delegation prepared for the coming blows, no longer under any illusion of maintaining neutrality. Aboard the Guardian ship, final touches proceeded at a frenzied pace. Methodical crews worked through pressurized corridors, installing the last weapon systems. Captain Spencer oversaw progress from the bridge, pleased with 0 faults so far. He had seen this war coming long before the diplomats started talking. Today, only iron would answer iron. In orbit around Earth, ancient satellite stations observed it all. Orders had come down to wait and see events unfold before deciding whether to act. On a barren moon of a frozen gas giant, the Marauder war raged. News of the Guardian ship sent him into a fury like never before. After a rampage that destroyed half his own castle, his lieutenants begged for an explanation. Why does this filthy human ship cause our leader such anger? Vor drew a massive gun and aimed it at the trembling crowd. That warship means our plans have failed. The apes were supposed to destroy each other, leaving us and the Alliance to collect the scraps. He holstered the gun, mind already forming new plans to eradicate humanity. We must act quickly before they ruin all our work. Summon the War Council. Fleets will mobilize within the hour. Aboard the Guardian ship, final preparations neared completion. Captain Spencer oversaw damage control drills and launch procedures, satisfied with the results. Years of training had honed his crew into a well-oiled machine, but apprehension remained as he knew war held many uncertainties. On the bridge, sensors blared an encrypted transmission from Fleet Command demanding his attention. Spencer opened the channel, bracing for the expected demands to suspend the Guardian ship's operations. Instead, a grave voice reported dire news. Captain, Marauder war has placed his fleets on a war footing. Intelligence indicates 3 armadas are concentrating on the Vega cluster. Spencer absorbed the implications, mind racing ahead. Orders are to immediately break Earth orbit, intercept and destroy Marauder forces by any means necessary. Spencer quickly acknowledged and cut the channel. Red alert, all hands to battle stations. Ready for launch. He ran through pre-flight checks, pushing the thrusters to maximum power. The crew leapt into action as alarm klaxons blared, adrenaline propelling them to superhuman speeds. Within minutes, the Guardian ship detached from the space dock, thrusters blazing towards space. Spencer pushed the acceleration, saving precious seconds for their journey. Each minute could mean one more colony saved from annihilation. As they broke atmosphere, the true scale of their mission hit him. This would be no drill or simulation. Their enemy tolerated no mercy, and expected none in return. On the bridge, tension hung palpable over all as the stars emerged. Countdown ended, space drives engaged with a jolt, space warping around the bow as reality tore asunder. Coordinates locked, the Guardian ship vanished into chaotic void to face an enemy bent on eradicating humanity. On the desolate moon base, Vor's War Council worked furiously. Fleet admirals reported their forces concentrated on target systems as planned. Weapons plants worked round the clock to resupply depleted armadas. Vor listened without emotion, pleased all still proceeded according to plan. Though the human's warship may be mighty, his grand strategy would still come to fruition. Any word from our agents in the council? A lieutenant replied, several sympathetic delegates have been contacted, stoking discord over Terran militarism. Good, sow as much disunity as possible. Outside the base perimeter, 3 colossal war fleets gathered in synchronized orbit. Over 1,000 warships of every configuration blazed with assault craft, fighters and supply vessels. A true armada, all under the eyes of the Marauder and ready to destroy on command. The fleetmasters engaged main drives in unison, space splaying outward in expanding spheres as the engines reached full power. One by one, the war fleets disappeared into hyperspace, bearing towards targets across multiple sectors. Their violent onslaught would come all too soon. Within days, the Guardian ship fleets emerged from hyperspace deep in the Vega system. Invasion forces deployed without delay, assaulting every habitable world and defenseless station without mercy. Screams replaced where once rang songs of industry and learning. Thousands fell in the first hours, never knowing the faces of their executioners. Worlds burned as the ashes of entire civilizations scattered upon the winds. For the Marauders, this had always been the way. Their species survived on death and terror. While the slaughter raged across the Vega cluster, the Guardian ship raced at maximum velocity. Spencer drove the ship and crew relentlessly, pushing past safety limits. Each minute saved could mean thousands spared from massacre. Sensors blared warnings, Spencer rushing to the bridge as displays lit up. Heart to port, all back full. The Guardian ship groaned, the hull creaking under immense strain. A micro-black hole appeared ahead, its maw ready to drag them in. 9-inch nails Talon's fingers flew over the controls, morphing plates resizing, rerouting auxiliary power. With one final push, the Guardian ship slid safely past the event horizon. Spencer exhaled deeply, thanking Talon and ordering course adjustment toward the nebula head. Amidst bouts of nausea from the violent maneuvers, Spencer studied fleet tactical updates. 3 Marauder war groups had reached the cluster, numbers nearly matching his own forces. Push the reactors to 120%. I want that nebula swept clear in 30 minutes. At last, the Guardian ship burst free from the glowing clouds, targeting sensors coming online. Appallingly, dozens of colony worlds burned across multiple systems. Spencer slammed a fist down, resolve hardening to adamantium steel. Get me firing solutions, every cannon we have will rain fury on those monsters. Spencer stepped to the command dais, staring intently at the main view screen. A massive star cluster stretched to every horizon. Somewhere out there, an enemy believed humanity easy prey. But these were his people, those the Marauders had slaughtered without remorse. Today they would learn the error of those actions. A flicker of movement caught his eye, magnified on screen, was a colossal war group emerging. Sensors identified them as the raiders of a shattered refugee world. Align all forward batteries, focus fire, open up. Their moment had come to answer the call. Across the Guardian ship, naval tradition rang out. Fire all launchers, target the enemy and unleash fury. Within seconds, long-range sensors detected the ragged edges of the Marauder fleet. The bridge crew leapt into action, orders barked, systems engaged, and the Guardian ship surged with murderous intent. Target coordinates locked, Lieutenant Harris shouted from the weapons console, fingers flying over the controls. All forward batteries ready to fire. Status of the reactor. Spencer demanded, eyes never leaving the main screen where the Marauder fleet loomed larger. Reactor at 120% and holding steady, Captain, came the reply from Chief Engineer Thorne, her quavering voice betraying the strain on the ship's systems. We can maintain this for a short time, but if much longer, we risk a breach. Understood, Spencer replied. Hold fast, Chief, we need every ounce of power. On the main view screen, the Marauder ships began organizing into a tighter formation, their sleek black hulls gleaming against the backdrop of burning worlds. The shattered remnants of refugee stations floated as grim witnesses to the enemy's ruthlessness. Incoming transmission from the Marauder command ship, 9-inch Nails Talon reported, her voice taut. They're hailing us, Captain. Put it through, Spencer ordered, his jaw clenching tight. The image of a Marauder commander filled the screen. Pathetic Terrans, he hissed. Your futile resistance ends here. Prepare to be eradicated. This is Captain Spencer of the Guardian ship. You have attacked our homes, slaughtered our people. Prepare to die. With that, he cut the transmission. All batteries fire at will, he commanded. The forward guns of the Guardian ship roared, spewing forth a barrage of energy beams and missile salvos. Space lit up as the initial onslaught sped towards the Marauder fleet. The darkness of space was temporarily banished by the light of war. On the bridge, the crew watched in tense silence as the weapons found their marks. Explosions blossomed along enemy hulls, debris and fire spilling into space. The Marauders returned fire, their weapons flashing in deadly response. Multiple targets hit, Lieutenant Harris called out. Their formation is breaking up. Spencer's eyes narrowed as he assessed the battlefield. The Marauder ships were tough, their armor absorbing much of the initial assault, but the relentless firepower of the Guardian ship began taking its toll. Ships started listing, hulls rupturing, and the war group that had once threatened began falling into disarray. Keep up the pressure, Spencer ordered. Focus fire on their command ships. We take them out and the rest will follow. The Guardian ship moved with surprising agility for its size, dodging incoming fire and dealing out punishing blows in return. Captain Spencer orchestrated the battle with precision, his commands ensuring maximum effectiveness of every strike. Captain, additional Marauder ships are arriving, 9-inch Nails Talon warned. They're reinforcing their position. Spencer's face hardened. We need to break them now. Order the fleet to advance, we'll take the fight to them. The Guardian ship surged forward, spearheading the assault, as the Terran fleet closed the gap. Battle erupted, a symphony of destruction echoing across the stars. Spencer knew the risks, they were fighting not only to survive but for the future of humanity. The enemy fought back with savage ferocity, every blow they received returned with double the viciousness. The Marauders had underestimated humanity's will to fight, and now they paid the price. As the guns of the Guardian ship blazed, Captain Spencer knew this was only the beginning. The road ahead held many dangers, but in this moment, with the enemy reeling and retreating under the might of Earth's fleets, there was hope. They would fight, they would endure, and they would win.